You know that feeling, right? I definitely have. It's that moment when you are just absolutely 100% convinced you're right. And then, boom, you find out you are totally, spectacularly wrong. Well, that feeling, it's not just you being arrogant. Nope, it's your brain.
And that's exactly what we're diving into. This simple and, let's be honest, kind of terrifying idea. Because sometimes the one thing we trust more than anything else, our own mind, is the very thing that's building this incredibly convincing illusion.
Seriously, think about it. Maybe it was a political debate, a random trivia night, or, some helpful advice you just had to give someone. That feeling of total certainty, man, it's powerful. But where on earth does it come from? Especially when it has zero connection to what's actually true.
So, let's give this thing a name. We're going to call it the confidence illusion. And trust me, it's a puzzle that explains so much about why we do the things we do, both in our own heads and out there in the world. It all kicks off with something you've definitely seen before.
Oh, yeah, we've all seen it. You know the type. The amateur cook who watches one episode of a cooking show and suddenly they're a food critic. Or the guy who builds one IKEA shelf and now he's giving you advice on your home renovation. It's funny, right? But it's so easy to just laugh it off. The thing is, it points to something way deeper than just someone being a know-it-all. Believe it or not, there's a real scientific reason for this. It's not a personality flaw, not at all. It's actually a built-in feature of how our brains are wired. Think of it like a cognitive bug. Maybe it was useful way back when making a fast, confident decision was better than being perfectly accurate. But today, in our super complex world, that little bug can cause some major problems. And I promise you, once I explained it, you are going to start seeing it everywhere. Okay, so this cognitive bug, this whole confidence illusion thing, it has an official name. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, named after the two psychologists, Dunning and Kruger, who first put their finger on it. And what they found, well, it's a huge paradox about how our minds work. All right, this is the key. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where the exact same skills you need to be good at something are also the skills you need to realize you're not good at it. It's like your brain is missing the right tool to measure itself. The circuits that are supposed to spot your own mistakes, they're just not there for that specific topic. So think about what that means. If your brain can't even see the mistake, it's never going to send an error signal up to your conscious mind. The analogy is perfect. It's like a smoke detector with dead batteries. The kitchen could be filled with smoke, but the alarm just stays silent. So what do? You just keep on cooking, completely and confidently unaware that anything is wrong. Okay, probably the best way to really wrap your head around this whole journey, from total newbies to actual expert, is with a visual. Let's call it the curve of competence. It's basically a map that shows the wild relationship between how good we actually are at something and how good we think we are. So check this out. It's pretty fascinating how it maps our own learning process, right? We all start at that first big peak. Some people call it Mount Stupid. It's where a tiny bit of knowledge makes you feel like an absolute genius. But then, reality hits. As you learn more, your confidence just nosedives into what's called the Valley of Despair. That's when you finally see just how much you don't know. It's only from down there, with a lot of humility and hard work, that you can begin the slow, steady climb up the slope of insight towards real earned confidence. So this whole journey from Mount Stupid to the slope of insight, what does that actually look like in the real world? Because this isn't just some abstract idea. This cognitive blind spot has huge real-world consequences for how we talk to each other, how we argue, how we work, pretty much everything. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think about any heated comment section online, any of them. Who's always the loudest, the most aggressive, the one who's absolutely 100% certain and refuses to back down? Almost always, it's the person who knows the least. They're basically shouting from the top of Mount Stupid with no idea there's this vast landscape of knowledge they haven't even glimpsed. And this really breaks down the two extremes, right? On one side, you've got the overconfident beginner. They're loud, they're certain, because frankly, they don't know enough to even have doubts yet. And then on the other side, you have the quiet expert. They've been through the valley of despair. They get that the more you learn, the more you realize how much more there is to learn. Their confidence is calm, it's measured. It's not weakness, it's a sign they truly understand the complexity of it all. So, we're back to that central paradox, that crazy catch-22. It's like a locked loop in your brain. The very tool you need to check yourself is the tool that's broken. And you need that tool to even realize it's broken. That's the trap. So the big question is, can we pick the lock? Is there a way out? And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If every single one of us can fall into this trap, is there an escape hatch? Can we get around our own brain's blind spots? Well, the good news is yes. The bad news, it's not automatic. It takes real conscious effort. You have to deliberately change the way you think.
All right, so let's get practical. Here are 3 solid strategies you can use to build yourself an escape route. Number 1, practice something called metacognition. Fancy word, simple idea. Just think about your thinking. Seriously, ask yourself, okay, why am I so sure about this? What's my confidence really based on? Number 2, build feedback loops. Don't wait for people to tell you you're wrong. Go out and ask them. And finally, number 3, embrace being wrong. Start seeing your mistakes not as failures, but as data. It's seriously the fastest way to figure out where the edge of your knowledge is.
When it all comes down to it, this is the big takeaway. Humility isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. It's like a cognitive upgrade for your brain. It's the software patch that helps you bypass all that faulty wiring so you can start seeing things and yourself a whole lot more clearly. So, do you get a kick out of this stuff? Really digging into how your mind actually works, peeling back the layers on all the illusions and biases that secretly run the show? If so, you're definitely in the right place.
But this whole conversation leaves us with one last really interesting question. We've spent all this time talking about why incompetent people are so darn overconfident. So, what about the other side? Is it possible that the truly competent people, the real experts, actually underestimate themselves? Now that is a puzzle for another time.